When life comes crashing down on you, when you lose a job, you lose a relationship, or you face some unexpected crisis, many of us have this first instinct to move, to do, or to fix, to put everything back where it was, to restore certainty, to escape the pain. We rush toward the solution because the loss feels painful, and the uncertainty feels unbearable, and rushing feels like safety. But here's an important truth. It's in these moments of collapse, of heartbreak and confusion, that you actually need to slow down the most. My name is Michelle Shelton. I'm a registered dietitian and a coach, and today I'm going to talk about the value of slowing down. Why do we sometimes rush when life falls apart? When something breaks open in life, something inside you breaks open too, and a flood of emotions rise. Fear, grief, shock, shame, confusion, they're all tangled together like a ball of yarn, and it can be overwhelming, uncomfortable, and often confusing to sort through it all. And it makes sense that your initial impulse is to make it stop and to escape, right? Your nervous system is saying, make this stop, fix it now, get me out of here. So you rush to find a solution, to fix, to solve, to restore. Slowing down almost feels counterintuitive in this reflexive response, but wisdom isn't usually found in our reflexive responses. Our reflexive, reactive response is designed to keep us safe, but here's the paradox. Rushing doesn't save us. Rushing scatters us. It pulls us away from the one place our clarity, wisdom, and strength actually live. And in that scattered place, we become vulnerable to choices that do restore certainty, and maybe they do reduce the pain, but they aren't always aligned with our values, our purpose, or our true self. They don't really keep us progressing on the path to our best future, right? It's just sort of an escape or a temporary stopgap. These choices come from urgency, not from wisdom. So slowing down is stepping out of this autopilot, out of this reflexive response for urgency, escape, and fixing, and into intention and wisdom. So why is the solution to slow down? When you slow down, something profound happens. You create space. Space to feel what is actually happening, space to process the shock and the fear and the grief, space for the emotions to move through you instead of getting trapped inside of you, space to separate what you're feeling from who you are. And in this moment, you return to yourself, grounded, embodied, and present. This is where you reconnect to the only place your confidence and clarity have ever lived, in your core and in yourself. The steady, wise presence inside of you that is never destroyed by circumstances. And that is what we want to return to when we slow things down and when we create space. When you slow down, you gain something essential: compassion. Compassion for the fear that's rising. Compassion for the part of you that feels overwhelmed. Compassion for the deep vulnerability that emerges during crisis. You cannot access compassion when you're sprinting through your pain. Compassion only appears when you return to your body, to your breath, to your presence. And this compassion isn't soft or indulgent. It's stabilizing, it's clarifying, and it is leadership. One of the biggest reasons we avoid slowing down is this belief: I don't have time to slow down. I have this crisis on my hands. I have things that need to be done. I don't have time to slow down. But the real truth is you don't have time to skip this step, because what happens next to the decisions you make, the path that you choose, the future you step into requires your best self. It requires your clearest thinking, your deepest wisdom, your most grounded presence. And rushing steals all of that. Slowing down restores it. The other reason we rush to a solution is simple. We don't want to feel the pain. We think if we move fast enough, fix fast enough, or stay busy enough, we can outrun it. We can avoid it. But here's the truth. Pain doesn't leave your body until you create space for it to heal. When you push past it, the pain doesn't disappear, it buries itself. And buried pain eventually resurfaces as anxiety, burnout, emotional reactivity, numbing, or disconnection. Slowing down isn't about suffering longer, it's about healing sooner. So what does slowing down actually look like, and how can you practice this in real life? I want to offer you 3 grounded, practical ways to begin slowing down in your life. The first one is to establish some sort of daily reflective practice. Slowing down begins with intentionally creating space to go inward, a space where you can witness what's surfacing in your system and allow it to move through you as it needs to move. This could be meditation, it could be journaling, or it could be simply sitting quietly for a few minutes and just reflecting and feeling and paying attention. What matters is the quality of your presence. It's important that you approach this with compassion, with curiosity, and without trying to fix anything. The goal here isn't to create a plan, to act, or to fix. The goal here is to simply witness, to process, to see, and to be seen. In other words, the goal here is connection with yourself. That's the first practice. The second practice is a moment-by-moment pause anytime and throughout the day during moments of activation. Slowing down can happen in small micro moments when your nervous system activates, when urgency rises, and when you feel yourself starting to spin. Whenever that happens, I use this simple phrase, let's slow this down, right? That simple phrase reminding myself, let's just slow this down. It's an invitation to your system to step out of the spin. Then pause, stop talking, stop acting, stop rushing, whatever you're doing, just stop and turn inward. And as you turn inward, check in with your body. Where is there tension? What feels urgent in this moment? Where are you triggered? Begin to notice emotions that may be rising. Slow your breath and offer everything that is arising your compassion. In this compassion, you give it space to relax, to feel your presence, and to feel your leadership. And as you do this, the emotions begin to relax and process instead of take control and drive behavior, right? When we're in the spin, emotions are controlling and driving behavior. In the slowness, our self-leadership returns. In that spaciousness, urgency loosens and clarity comes back. That's the second practice, right? Those micro moments of slowing down. Let's slow this down. And then the third practice may be support from someone who can hold space for you and help hold you while your nervous system learns that skill of slowing down. Slowing down sometimes requires support from a coach, a therapist, or a trusted friend who can help you create the pause that you can't access on your own yet. These relational spaces provide grounding, reflection, insight, and compassion, the ingredients of true self-leadership. So when life comes crashing down, when everything in you wants to sprint toward a solution, that's the moment to pause, to breathe, to come home to yourself. Not because slowing down is easy, but because the road ahead matters, and it requires the version of you who is connected, clear, and fully present. Slow down because your future depends on your best self to lead you. Slow down because this moment deserves your compassion. Slow down because this is where healing begins. Slowing down is an invitation to step out of autopilot and return to yourself, return to intention, return to self-leadership. So if life feels heavy right now, if something has fallen apart or you're standing in the middle of a transition that you didn't choose, remember this. You don't have to rush. You don't have to force clarity. You don't have to figure everything out today. Slow down, come back to yourself. Let clarity rise from presence, not from pressure. If you want more support with this, if you want help learning how to lead yourself with compassion instead of urgency, I'd love to walk with you. Subscribe so you don't miss any of the weekly teachings I share on emotional regulation, self-leadership, and healing from the inside out. And if you're ready to take this deeper, you could also sign up for a free coaching consultation. It's a space where we slow down together, where you can experience clarity, grounding, and support, and where we explore what becoming self-led could look like for you. Your healing isn't something that you have to navigate alone. You are invited, you are supported, and you're already on your way. The link to sign up is in the video description. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.